Hello, and welcome to the Shitshow Extravaganza. My name is Shaheen, and rhymes with quarantine. I don't. Okay, so just like everyone else in this world, we're going through a quarantine. Everyone's staying at home. Kuwait even issued a curfew where you have to be, like, nobody's allowed to be on the streets past 5 p.m. It's kind of cool, but I'm looking out the window right now at 11 p.m. and I see cars, so I don't know what's happening. Anyway, I know the quarantine has been hitting people pretty hard recently, and I guess it depends on where you come from. Like, luckily, I'm fortunate enough to be in a country where it's taking care of its people pretty well. I haven't left the house in about a week, more than a week. And that's something, and there's no signs of struggle in my life in regards to the quarantine, aside from probably some vitamin D deficiency. And I don't want to basically say, this virus has done good to me. It hasn't done good to anyone. I know a lot of people talk about how it's doing wonders for the environment, how there's less emissions and, less littering. And that's good and all, but I mean, people are dying, which is, what's the price to pay? I don't think human lives are that invaluable when it comes to that kind of example. Not a lot of people are preaching that point. But anyway, so due to the quarantine and the fact that everything in Kuwait is, not everything, most things are closed in Kuwait. I work from home, and even that's kind of dying out in terms of actual work needed to be done. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been benefiting personally from this quarantine thing. And I'm not just talking about the fun aspects, like catching up on TV shows or video games that I bought like 2 years ago that I never got the chance to play, or any of that. But also getting to, basically, when I come home from work, I want to, for example, work on the podcast or work on my upcoming comic, which you guys should follow. Link in the description. But those things, when I come home and I want to work on, I end up just being super tired. And I do push through when I need to. And I do need to. I don't want to give up on this podcast. And I definitely don't want to give up on the comic. So I definitely try to find the time to do both. And that's fine. Like, I know people work fucking 2 jobs out there, and people are struggling to live, and I'm complaining about finding the free time to do things that aren't really a necessity in life. But this quarantine has offered me that time. I'm ignoring the negatives in this case, but it has offered me this time, and I've been using it decently well. I'm still procrastinating and shit, but who doesn't? Everyone does. And a lot of people have been pretty active in terms of trying to overcome this quarantine and find things to entertain themselves or to maintain their healthy lifestyles. My cousin has built some kind of makeshift gym right outside their house within their front yard. And she works out a lot, and that's pretty cool because she's a gym buff, so she didn't give up on that. I gave up on the gym about 2 months ago when I started working. It's just, man, I hate the traffic. But yeah. So, a lot of people have been entertaining themselves. And a recent trend that has happened is the challenges thing that's happening on social media, Instagram and Twitter. I don't know if this is saying much about my friends, but I rarely get tagged. I don't know if they hate me. I don't know if they know that I hate these kinds of situations, and that's why they don't do it. To which it's admirable that they know that I don't like this kind of stuff. But I try to be a committed man. If someone challenges me, I try to uphold those standards. The only person to ever tag me was a friend in Kuwait here. He tagged me on Twitter. And luckily, it's an easy task. It was just, post a GIF of your favorite movie. I wanted to ask what genre, I wanted to ask what medium, but yeah, I just ended up putting The Hunchback of Notre Dame because If it's something that I watched so many times in 1 year, I think that deserves the go ahead. But yeah, all these Instagram challenges, it's like your favorite blah blah blah, or draw this fucking tomato or orange. Like, it's cool, and if I got tagged, I'd do it, but I'd definitely not be happy, or I'd try to find a way out of it. I'm not gonna lie. Luckily, I haven't been tagged. But that's fine. See, it's one thing to be tagged by someone, it's another thing to fall under someone's trap. So, one time while I was playing video games and the loading screen was taking too long, I was looking through Instagram, and usually I like people's posts, right? Like, I don't discriminate. If you're a friend of mine and you post something on Instagram, unless it's you, I don't know, stabbing a child, I'll probably like that picture, regardless of the context usually. So, you know, because that's the kind of homie I am. I want to be there from homies. But in this specific scenario, I liked the picture earlier that day, and then I liked another picture while I was waiting for the loading screen to finish. And the first picture looked completely normal. There was like the caption was challenge accepted. So I'm like, oh, someone probably challenged her to do this shit, whatever. And even if you look through the comments, it's just people asking about the picture. It's pretty chill, nothing serious, right? Second picture, I don't even remember the caption because, again, the loading screen just finished in the game, and I wanted to hurry back, so I just liked the picture, which looked, it wasn't a picture, it was a video, and it looked normal. And then I got a message, right? And they were like, you liked my picture, therefore you have accepted my challenge. And I had to post a video or something of me that's embarrassing for 24 hours. And I'm like, I didn't ask for this. This is not a healthy way to tag somebody. Like, what? Okay, if I were to do it, right? If I were to do it, and then people who would just like my picture would feel like I tricked them because that's how I felt, you know? Like, I have to message random people, like my aunt who barely gives a fuck about what's happening in the pop culture world. And I just tell her, hey, you accepted my challenge. Post a picture of you embarrassed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's so dumb. And now, this is what this challenge has accomplished. It has made me paranoid. And each picture I pass by, I tried to make sure that it's not another trap. Because I had to message or respond to those two individuals that have used their trap cards on me. And I had to ask for their pardon. And they pardoned me. It wasn't that complicated. Honestly, I think I'm just blowing this out of proportion. I think these challenges are extremely optional. It's just when someone puts me under that spotlight, it's hard to kind of just ignore that person, or at least not ask them if it's okay not to do it. Does that make me a little bit? Yeah, probably. It does make me a little bitch, but whatever. But anyway, these challenges have been a great way to even keep me entertained. Another challenge is the push-up challenge. I saw a guy that did it and he said, I wasn't challenged, I just wanted to do push-ups. So, you know, people are just getting lonely and wanting to jump in. I'm glad no one tagged me in that, because it's one thing to say, yeah, my favorite Disney movie is this. It's another thing to say, hey, record yourself doing physical exercise. Like, I'm not saying that I can't do 10 push-ups. I can most definitely do 10 push-ups. It's just, I don't want to. Especially because, yeah, no, I just don't want to. But yeah, I mean, back to the quarantine and the darker side of it. Like I said, I don't really have much qualms with the quarantine itself, but a lot of negative feelings or negative thoughts kind of creep in, like, okay, we're doing well now, but how long is this gonna last? What about food? Is food gonna run out eventually? Now we're doing decent, but sometimes we struggle to find bread or even small necessities, like bread. This is Kuwait. Kuwait at least does a better job of taking care of people the U.S. I'm not, again, this isn't a political podcast. I'm not gonna be here and judge another country, but based off of what I've seen from my friends, they struggling out there. They're not allowed to work. They're sent home from work, and they're not getting paid leave. Finding food is pretty rough. My brother's studying there now, and he complained about that too. And yeah, I'm just concerned about a lot of my friends out there. I don't know what's happening in Japan. I really don't. But based off of my friends' social media, they seem to be living completely fine, and I'm so confused. I don't know if they're posting pictures from like the past, but man, they're just out and about having a good time. Maybe the outbreak was contained better. I don't know. I thought it was messy out there, but I guess not. But yeah, hopefully we get through this quarantine and we tell our children that we survived a pandemic, assuming we come out of this alive, which we probably will. We probably will if we just stay home and don't be too dumb. But yeah, good luck with everything. So I would like to move to the People's Choice Awards. So what's interesting about this week's Instagram question, is I don't think we've ever gotten this many responses. I think we just broke a record. Maybe the first episode, or in the first 2 episodes, we kind of got a lot of responses. But boy golly gee, did people deliver this time. And I wonder why, I said to myself sarcastically, knowing that people being at home and checking their phones without having anything else to do is going to lead them to, let me respond. People, you might have even thought it was a challenge. I don't know how it works. I sound like a boomer. Responses were, among a similar mentality, playing video games, watching TV shows, watching anime, Netflix. Working out is a very common one too, which is nice. Good job on staying healthy. And of course, the savior of this quarantine, Animal Crossing, is widely talked about, and that's all I see nowadays, which is good. I think coming out at this crucial time helped a lot of people kind of just relax, have fun, and get their mind off of the fact that the world is burning. And one of the responses was also, it's funny because he just slides it in, right? He says, I have been going on 20-mile bicycle rides, teaching my son, talking to my wife, and Netflix. Like, the fact that I don't think he meant talking to my wife as something that's weird or out of the ordinary. I think he's just saying, I got to spend more time with my family. But just the phrasing of it makes it sound like, whoa, I don't know, I've never talked to my wife before. What an experience. And, it's funny either way. A lot of people talked about their online classes, having to do that instead of physical class. I don't know how that's going to work out. I know a lot of people are doing it. Personally, when I took summer online classes, they were really easy to do. But it's different now because it's a video kind of call thing for a lot of people. That's kind of weird. But I mean, I wish everybody good luck with school, because that's pretty hefty to deal with. And we had some negative ones, some dealing with mental health or internal issues, having an existential crisis. You should go listen to the episode about the existential crisis. It doesn't solve the problem. It's just relatable. What else? We had... avoid going insane once realizing that my existence plays no role to the society. Trying to fill void. Sleep. I think that's someone who needs to pick up a hobby, because that kind of black hole is going to suck you in deeper if you don't have the ability to kind of get your mind off of things. I know it's easier said than done. Trust me, I definitely know it's easier said than done. But, I mean... And of course we had the extremely classy masturbation ones. Because who's not going to, right? You're trapped. Italy gets free Pornhub... what's Pornhub's... Premium? That's what it's called? Anyway, they get free Pornhub Premium, which is nice of Pornhub. It's more of what they did than most countries have done for their citizens. Again, not a political podcast. And that's it. I mean, that's pretty much in cap. That summarizes the entirety of this quarantine. Watch movies, masturbate, sometimes doing the two together. But yeah, thank you for listening to this week's episode, and I'm gonna mention this again. This episode has been sponsored, not really. I don't get paid because it's also my work, but it has been sponsored by the comic that I'm working on called Crimson Star. You can follow it in the description, our Instagram and Twitter. We will be releasing or debuting the comic within the next week, so stay tuned. Again, the sponsor is not an actual sponsor. We've always joked about sponsors, and now I get to say it slightly less ironically than before. And thank you for listening to this week's episode, and I'll see you next week.